So I haven't done a video in a while, so I'm going to do one right now. Today's video is 21 Durango mid-muffler delete, okay? So the mid-muffler is this big old suitcase right here. Heavy piece of crap. It's a muffler, okay? So what I'm going to show you is how to, you need a welder. I mean, you could get away with clamps. Don't get me wrong, you could get away with clamps, okay? So this is a very simple video. Obviously, I'll take an exhaust video clip here at the end. But here is what it looks like. Now, this is if you went to O'Reilly's, okay? Let me change camera angles here, and I will show you a little bit closer. So what you do, very simple. There is a 1-inch chunk here between the mid-muffler and here. Cut, okay? Come back here, cut behind the muffler. Now this, you'll see a gap here because I'm gonna weld a gap on mine, okay? Because of this dent here. So I highly recommend when you do yours, instead of cutting them both on the back of the muffler, cut this one on the back of the muffler and cut this one behind the dent, so that way the piece will slide over. So what we have here is you can see the part number. This is the 548754, which is an O'Reilly's part number. There's 4 of them, 45, 45, 45, 45. And then we have 2 straight sections, 548634. And basically, you cut one end off the 45s. And the 45s will slide together. And then what you do is you just cut to length your other piece, okay? Now, this is where it might be a little bit difficult for people because this pipe is the exact same size. So what you can see here is this is a butt weld, and then this is slid over. This is slid over this, and this is gonna be a butt weld here. My original plan was to have a butt weld and a butt weld, and then slide over on each side. So technically, the only way that you'd be able to get it where you were using clamps is you'd get these straight sections, they're long, cut them down, and then they make an adapter, which is an inside diameter to inside diameter. So you could cut it, slide it over, and then put the adapter here, and then you could do clamps all the way down if you're doing this at home and didn't want to weld it. Obviously, I highly recommend welding it because you'll be able to weld 3/4 of it from the bottom, unbolt these clamps, drop the exhaust, weld the tops, bolt it back up, and it's done. Very simple. And then obviously you have the resonators back here. Now, chances are I'm going to leave the resonators in place because more than likely with the mid-muffler delete, it might sound pretty decent how it is. And if that's the case, I'm going to leave these alone. If that's not the case, we'll be replacing these with a higher end resonator or some small performance mufflers or whatever. So, but like I said, this is literally it. It is one of the simplest muffler deletes that you can do to get a little bit more sound out of your Durango. Yeah, and you can do it at home in your driveway. You know, you only need a jack to hold the pipes up. You don't need a transmission jack to do it. So I'm going to weld this up here, and then we'll shoot a video of what the exhaust sounds like. Okay, so this is going to be the first startup. I haven't started it yet. Obviously, I have to adjust that tip on the left side there a little bit. So that's way freaking better than it sounded like before, I'll tell you that. Okay, so I will say where I'm at on it. So ignore the left tip of the exhaust. Obviously that needs to get adjusted. Something shifted when I was tacking it together and I didn't double check it. So that's what happens there. But the mid-muffler delete, for the most part, is nice. On a cold start, the exhaust is loud, or not loud, but medium, and there's a nice little rumble until it warms up and then you can't hear the exhaust. And then driving around, there's barely any sound whatsoever until you get on it, which is nice. But as you can tell by the video, when you do get on it, there's a real raspy note. a rattle, like a can rattling. So again, I think that if you're going to do the mid muffler delete, you almost want to do a delete of the resonators and then use 2 quality resonators or 2 mufflers to get the quality sound out of it. So we'll be doing another video later on with what we did to get there, because I'm trying to keep the sound quality, get it a little bit louder, but without it being annoying. So again, we'll post another video later, but again, this was the mid muffler delete for the 21 Durango.